Friends, neighbors and friends, welcome back. So today we're about to build one of my all-time favorite little secret weapon boxes. So this is a power distribution box that uses this little fourplex outlet. This is a very old school Hubbell part. And in case you're wondering about the part number, it is a Hubbell HBL420BK. This guy is very, very old school. And I first encountered these when I was working at a club in New York. They had these as just little courtesy outlets on maybe like a 3 or 4 foot tail. And I just thought, that's cool. I've never seen one of these before. And that has inspired me to use them in many, many projects. Now, one of my favorite things, just for the nerds in the audience, is this comes with an instruction manual or a piece of instructions that's on a piece of paper, as it is cleverly laid out here, that was last revved in 7 of 1992. So these are definitely hand drawings that are on this. Now that level of old school in terms of electrical kind of things, I think that's pretty cool. So in looking at this, this particular fourplex outlet is designed to go on either an octagonal box, I don't know, I guess that would be a hexagon box, and then also just a regular rounded rectangle, or a square box rather. I don't know my shapes today. I apologize. And you can put it over a single gang box and all kinds of stuff, or you can use the HBL4PBBK box, and you can make a back box out of it, which is pretty cool. So you can add that on a cable, and then these two guys just go together just like that, and you can put it on the end of the cable. I make these for myself in 25-foot versions with just regular Edison on the end. So if you're running power for a band or anything like that, you get four outlets. The other thing, which is what we're going to build today, is we build just little short ones with a little 2-foot cable with Powercon on the end. And when I build desktop power boxes or power distros or things like that, I always like to include a Powercon output. My shop distro right over here has one. And this just gives you a nice higher density way of getting 4 additional outlets on your power distro without burning an AC outlet. So one of the cool things is if you have power bricks or anything like that, this will support it. And it just is a nice way of giving you outlets. So I usually keep one of these on my desk. We've had a couple of rush orders come out of here recently that needed them, so I've sold mine a bunch of times, so I just need to build myself another one. And hey, for the sake of YouTube content, here we are. So let's get this built. So here's our back box portion. We're going to set this off to the side. And then looking at the back of this, you have the ability to run 2 circuits. There's an A and a B. They naturally come bridged so that A equals B. And all you have to do is just break off one of these little tabs and you're good to go. So with this particular one, I'm just going to get this prepped. And in typical Hubbell style, it will accept a flathead, a Phillips, or a Robertson bit, which I like a Robertson in this particular application. I think this is a number 2, maybe number 1. Number 1 Robinson. So we'll use that. I'm just going to get these screws taken off. Standard wiring applies. There's a brass one, a silver one, and a ground. Okay, so now that we've got this prepped, we are going to cut our cord. So all I like to do is just sort of get a basic diagonal like this. Make a little note right, or make a little score right here. This is 12 gauge SO cable. And because I'm a pack rat, as you can tell by my general messy desk, I save all these little cable scraps for making little patch cables and jumpers and stuff like that. And this is one that I just pulled out of the scrap bin. It just happened to be 2 feet, which is the absolute length that I needed for this project. So internally, SO cable is pretty much all the same. you've got your conductors, black for hot, white for neutral, and green for ground. And then you've got these little separators. Some of them have cardboard. Some of them have like a mesh thing. This particular one has cardboard. So we just pop these conductors out of here, or these separators out of here. And then we'll take the conductors here and we'll strip them back. Give these guys a little twist. Okay. Now I like to use ring terminals on projects like this. So I'm just going to use a 10 to 12 gauge yellow ring terminal because that was the first box that I grabbed. And we'll just give these a crimp. Okay, so once this is on, all we have to do is attach our back box, which on there, there's just a little hole. So if you feed it from the opposite side, just like this, and then there's also a little strain relief that goes on here, which, as luck would have it, still uses the same size Robertson, so you don't have to get another screwdriver. Because really, I feel like, although it's a combination where you can use a Phillips, it's kind of a weird size, so Hubbell stuff generally likes to use a flathead, which is just hateful. So I like to just get those started like this, and then once this is in here, you can kind of pull it tight-ish. So what I like to do is just separate the box like this, and then put this little corner right over the strain relief. So once that's on there, I can tighten it down. And then, so it'll look like that. And then this goes here just like that. And the interesting thing here is there's no threads, or I should say there aren't any threads in the bottom box. It's just a slim piece of plastic. So the box does come with a variety of flathead screws, unfortunately, which look like that. And then all you do is use our little short ones like this and put this in the corner. And unfortunately, we do have to use a flathead for that, but it's not so bad. Okay, so now our box is built. So let's just terminate the end. So I'm gonna take a second here and clean up my work surface. So I'm going to add our LM Torr Systems ID heat shrink because, you know, ABB, always be branding. And I should say, at the moment, if you'd like to buy this cable, I do make them, and they are for sale online. So just check the description below for that. So on this side, we are going to use a gray Powercon. And I feel like, let's use the black strain relief today. So to build this cable, the easiest way to do that is put this back boot on here first. If you find that you don't want to do that, you might end up having a bad time. So I'm just going to cut this guy down. So when I'm stripping cable, I like to cut these a little bit longer. So I usually use my thumb and just trim this down in relation to my thumb. It's just a feel thing. I'm sure that there's a spec written for how long you're supposed to trim your wires, but I just do it by feel at this point. So we'll strip these back. So the Powercon end looks like this. And actually, the screws that are in this are actually a posi drive screw. They look like a Phillips head, but they are actually a posi drive. And I had a really nice tiny posi drive screwdriver, but I, of course, lost it. It's in some project bin someplace. So one of the main differences here between a Powercon and, say, a True One, Powercons have these little flaps that basically come down. So as you tighten the screw, it pushes a little flap against the cable, and then the cable goes against the bottom of this jack right here. So if you're using a thin gauged cable, say anything maybe less than a 16 gauge cable or 14 gauge cable, there is a potential of the cable slipping out of here. Which is one of the reasons why I do really like True One connectors in a lot of instances. The only thing I don't like about them is the output connector is larger than a standard D-series punch. So when space is at a premium, I still end up using Powercon. So I will eventually make a video talking about the difference between True One and Powercon. And perhaps if you're watching this, there'll be a link that appears in the upper right-hand side of your screen. But until then, let's get this terminated. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by to see our beautiful cable. If you have any questions about that, just go ahead and leave a comment below. If you'd like to buy this cable, check the description. And as always, thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you have a great day. Bye.